Alright, Ratchet and Clank tier list. There are a grand total of 16 games here. Some of these are non-canon, but we are going to be ranking these purely on the quality of the games. Some of them are going to be a little bit biased, and some of my placings might surprise you. We're going to be starting it off here on Ratchet and Clank. This was dropped in 2002 on the PlayStation 2. This game has some flaws, like a lack of a strafing feature, a lack of weapon upgrades, and well, there was a little bit of a health upgrade, but you have to buy that, which is kind of bogus. But there's a lot of good stuff about it, like the story is great. This is where Ratchet and Clank first met, and there's a lot of like really funny jokes about like consumerism in the modern age. Well, in the modern age in like 2002, but hell, even those flaws of the gameplay, the game was like built around those flaws, and it made it like they weren't flaws at all. Like they were design features. But Ratchet and Clank is an S tier. A lot of people don't really like it, but I think it's one of the best in my opinion, of course. Ratchet and Clank Going Commando. This is a dope game. It pretty much takes place right after Ratchet and Clank 1. You know, there's still like that consumerism, those consumerism jokes in there, but there's a weapon upgrade system, a health upgrade system, more collectibles, you name it, they got it. And there's also a cool thing that they added called the Insomniac Museum. It's pretty much like a secret place that you go to, and there's like a lot of cool behind the scenes stuff, and I used to love visiting that as a kid. Hell, even as an adult I love visiting it. But this is gonna be an S tier. I think that Ratchet and Clank 1's a little bit better, but still, this is a dope game. Anyways, moving on over to Ratchet and Clank 3. This pretty much has everything from the second game, but more improved upon, like more weapon upgrades, more collectibles. I think a little bit of a better, well, the health upgrade system is pretty much the same health upgrade system that we use today, which I think is a little bit better. Consumerism jokes, they kind of toned down a little bit, but this game is still really good. It focuses more on combat more than platforming, which the combat is really good. I'm gonna have to give this game an S tier, right in between Ratchet and Clank and Ratchet and Clank 2. All of them great games. Ratchet and Clank Going Mobile. This is pretty much like a game that they made for like flip phones at the time. I believe that this dropped in like 2005. I could double check that. So this game pretty much does what it's advertised. It's pretty much Ratchet and Clank going mobile on the go. I think that I'm pretty sure this is non-canon, but I've played it before on like an emulator. It's pretty okay. I think it goes in like a B tier, excuse me. Ratchet. Oh wait, I was about to say Ratchet and Clank. Ratchet Deadlock. They dropped the Clank because he is purely on the sidelines this game. Now this game, I said that they've pretty much nerfed the platforming in Ratchet and Clank 3. The platforming in Ratchet Deadlock, they pretty much put it on the back burner. This game is sick. It has probably some of the best level design, best soundtrack, easy. It is freaking awesome. I'm gonna have to think of where to place this. I can't put all of them on S tier because, okay, I'm gonna have to be a little bit honest. It has to go in A tier because it does nerf the platforming, which I have grown to love with like all the Ratchet and Clank games, but it's still a dope game, and they just, focused on the combat more. Alright, Ratchet and Clank size matters. This game, I think you already know where I'm going to put it, but I'm going to throw you off a little bit. This game, it's one of my first like portable gaming experiences on the PSP. I got it on my 8th birthday, and I played the crap out of it, and I thought it was so dope. But unfortunately, I played it recently, and I gotta say, it's pretty bad. Like, the story, it's pretty bad. The combat, it's like all the enemies are bullet sponges. The weapon upgrade system, pretty much the same as all the others. But I gotta say, people think that this game is non-canon. but I think it could easily fit like in between, in between Ratchet Deadlocked and Tools of Destruction. But there are some really good points that people bring up, like, you know, the fact that Ratchet and Clank, they both act like really out of character. Like Ratchet, you know, he was like really aggressive in the first game, and then he became really aggressive in this game out of nowhere, which I get. So I would put it at S tier. I'm gonna be totally honest, but since I gotta look at it and be real, I'm gonna put it at B tier. Secret Agent Clank. This game is crap. This game is absolute crap. This game, oh, I forgot to mention, Ratchet and Clank Size Matters, they were developed by another team. Same with Secret Agent Clank. This game is Ratchet, or no, oh my god. This game is Clank's first solo game, and only solo game. And it's so bad that I think that this bankrupt High Impact.
So I did a little bit of research, and High Impact didn't go bankrupt. They just rebranded themselves to Big Red Button Entertainment. I didn't know that until recently. I thought High Impact just like completely bit the dust. So they're Big Red Button now, but they did make Sonic Boom Rise of Lyric, so yeah.
But this game, I'm gonna have to put it at D tier. Pretty much, you know, same flaws with Ratchet and Clank Size Matters, beat for beat here. Enemies are bullet sponges. The platforming in this game is so bad. Puzzles they drag for so long. The ending was really weird. The cork sections were really out of place. But anyways, we're gonna move on. Secret Agent Clank, D tier. Alright, Ratchet and Clank Tools of Destruction, S tier. Easy. But let me explain. This game was my first like ever game that I've like fully completed and loved. But this game pretty much brought high definition graphics to the Ratchet and Clank series. I think that this is considered a soft reboot, but it pretty much continues the story. And you know, if you haven't played the last games, you can totally start here if you want to. But the story is amazing. The gameplay is pretty much what you expect. It's pretty much more of the same, but just a little bit more refined. But they introduce new characters, new villains, and it goes more in depth into Ratchet's backstory, and it's dope. All right, Ratchet and Clank, Future Quest for Booty. It's Quest for Booty in other regions. This game, it's like a interlude game. It still is on the PlayStation Store for like $15. It's like a 3-hour game. It's just something to hold you over in between the 2-year gap between Ratchet and Clank Tools and Crack in Time. This is like a full-blown pirate game, which is I freaking love pirates. But this game, it pretty much is what it advertises. It's like, you know, it's a 3-hour game. It's pretty hold on. It's like here. Ratchet and Clank Future, A Crack in Time. This is, I think this is like the most highly acclaimed Ratchet and Clank game, but I'm gonna be honest, it's not as good as Tools in my opinion though. And that's purely because of rose tinted glasses. Now this game goes more in depth into Clank's backstory this time, and the Clank sections in this game are really good. All the other Clank sections in all the other games, they drag for too long. And the puzzles, everything, the weapons, the most iconic weapons in the whole series are in this game. So normally in the other games, when you go from planet to planet, there's like a loading screen or like a disguised loading screen. Oh, I didn't want to put it at A. Hold on. Let me speak. So instead of like those hidden loading screens, you go out and there's like there's space exploration, and you could go on moons. It's freaking awesome. I do gotta say, it's not as good as Tools, but it is still an S tier. Easy. Ratchet and Clank All for One. You go here. But I'm gonna explain myself. This is the first official, like, they had some co-op in Ratchet Deadlocked, but it was like, it didn't like tie into the story at all. But this is like the first game that like co-op is like integrated into the story, and you get to play with 3 other people if you have that many friends. Unlike me, I did not have any friends. But this game, it's pretty bad. Although I used to think it was the best game ever. You know, this game got me into drawing. I used to draw, like, I used to make dioramas because of this game. But I replayed it recently, and I gotta admit, it's pretty bad. Rose tinted glasses did not save this game. It's a really off-putting Ratchet and Clank game. It does not feel like a Ratchet and Clank game at all. And it is on the shorter side. Like, I got this game done in like 3.5 to 4 hours. And you know, you get to play as Dr. Nefarious for the first time, but just everything just feels off about it. And this is the game where like the kid, like cutesy humor starts to kick in, and I'm not a big fan of that. So it's gonna have to go here in C tier. Alright, Ratchet and Clank Full Frontal Assault. This game is gonna go right here, right above Secret Agent Clank. This game is not a Ratchet and Clank game. It does not feel like a Ratchet and Clank game at all. The only thing Ratchet and Clank about it are the characters and the weapons. This game pretty much ditched like the whole like linear level exploration and just went full tower defense. And I do not play Ratchet and Clank for tower defense type games. I go to other games for that. This and the story, it's just, it gets the job done. It's a mid story. This was released on the 10th anniversary of Ratchet and Clank, which is such a terrible way to celebrate the anniversary. And I gotta say, it's probably one of the shortest games in like the whole series. Yeah, I got this game done in like 3 hours. But this game does not feel like Ratchet and Clank at all, so it's going in D. Ratchet and Clank Before the Nexus. This game is like a mobile game released on iOS and Android devices in 2013. You unfortunately can't download it anymore on modern devices, at least on Apple's end, because I don't have an Android. But I do have an old iPad with it installed, and that's pretty much the only reason why I have that iPad. But why do I keep it if I think it's the worst Ratchet and Clank game ever? I don't know. It's pretty much like an average mobile game at the time. It's just like an endless, like on rails runner. I mean, for a mobile game, it's pretty okay, I guess, but it doesn't feel like Ratchet and Clank at all. Ratchet and Clank Into the Nexus. This game, I was so hyped for it. I remember when they were like dropping all the trailers, and you know, you could actually like play like the normal way with Clank on your back, and you get to use him as a helipack. And I was so excited. They were going back, and they dropped it, and it was so short. I got it done in like, I think it's a little bit longer than Full Frontal Assault, but not by much. There was only like 4 planets, and I remember I beat like the final boss, and I thought it was like a halfway through the game type of boss, but I beat it, and it was the final boss. And then the credits started rolling. I was like, what the heck? But other than that, it is a great game. I'm gonna have to put it right here, like right above Quest for Booty. It would be, hell, it had potential to be S tier, but the game was just so like, it was just so short. All right, I think it's safe to say that the remake is non-canon, but it's pretty okay. I'm gonna have to put it right here, right in between Quest for Booty and Going Mobile. Actually, hold on, let me fix that. I think Size Matters is better than Going Mobile. What was I thinking? But this game, it's pretty much, it's a bad remake. They pretty much got rid of planets. They pretty much cutesified the entire story. All the jokes about consumerism are gone. And one of the most ironic things ever is that the bouncer weapon is a pre-order bonus, which goes against all of the philosophies of the first game with like the jokes on consumerism. But the graphics are pretty, I guess. But yeah, it's a pretty mid-tier game. Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart. This game is a huge relief because after this game, I thought like, you know, it was just gonna be full cutesy. I mean, this game is pretty cutesy, but it has like glimpses of like little edgy humor that like the old games have. But this game was the first PS5 game. Hopefully there's gonna be more, but this game was freaking sick. This is gonna have to go in S tier. I think it's going to be right below A Crack in Time. It is a dope game, though. But yeah, this is my tier list, guys. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. I'm pretty sure I made some controversial opinions in here, but you're not supposed to agree. It's my tier list. Anyways, I'll see you guys later.